Okay, so when you open a file, you will see this security thingy. Do select allow execution. I don't know why it has like this checkbox. I never enable it because it's like all or nothing. So it's like individually by this specifically. This Python file rig UI.py allow execution. And just to be sure that that actually is running, I mean, just to be safe. So I went to edit preferences, and here click on add-on and then type rigify until you see this option. I have it enabled, and just to be 100% sure, save preferences. There we go. Alright, so if you do not see this editable armature, then it could be hidden. Like, take a look at the checkboxes, and this model has many because this is like really complex at this point. But yeah, take a look at the checkboxes. It could be like also hidden from this with the eye, and yeah. And the rig should be called rig, just rig. There is rig game that is for exporting and only exporting. Rig is only for editing. If you want to know about exporting, let me know, but this tutorial is mainly for animating and rigging. Okay, so at the top you will see the animation tab. You can create an animation with this over here, new action, and then it's created. And yes, it's on item. So here you can see what you can control on the character. So normally, as you can see, I have torso, fingers, detail, not just fingers, because I don't use that controls detail. Actually lets me move every individual joint of both hands. And there's also arm IK and leg IK. So IK means inversive kinematics and FK forward kinematics. The thing is, most of the time you will want to use IK when moving limbs, because you can, oh, it's mirrored, but yeah, you can move from like the outmost part of the limb and it will just fold and move along. This is like the elbow, you can also move like that. So the same thing with the legs. Okay, so you saw that I had it mirrored. For if you want to like disable or enable mirror, then here it is, x-axis mirror. So I disabled it, and then you can move this along only. You can see there's also relative mirror. That means that it mimics from relative positioning instead of straight up copying the whole movement one of the two limbs is doing. Okay, so you can grab, you can rotate, and you can scale. I don't know why you will want to do this, but you can do that. Yeah. Oh, and for that, make sure that the armature is in pose mode. So do click on the armature. I mean, you can select multiple objects, but make sure it's only the armature. It is like a lighter orange instead of like reddish orange. So the light orange, you have that selected. Hold Control, press Tab. So Control plus Tab. You can. That's how you enter into pose mode, and then revert to object mode. If you want to select something else. So select a bone, and you can grab, like I said, with the G key. With the R key you can rotate, and with the S key you scale. So yeah, the names get along with the initials. I also hit this and also play that. So you can show like this kind of specific parameters for each property. In this case, like one editable bone from the editable armature. There's also like the tools, like I showed about mirroring. There's also like view if you want to mess with that, but just to make just so you know, 50 is like should be very close enough, identical to the human eyes field of view. Okay, so yeah, you can hide and show this with the N key. There's also with the T key, you can like select different types of like behaviors of the pointer. Oh yeah, how to look around in the 3D view. Yeah, so hold the middle mouse and you can rotate. With the middle mouse you can like move out and in. If you want to pan, you have to hold shift and then move around. That's how you pan. You can also like move with zoom in and out with holding the middle mouse and the control key. While holding the control key, you press hold and middle mouse. You can also like, if I'm not wrong, no, okay, but yeah, this is like if you want to like an exact adjustment instead of like fixed increments, like really tiny. Sometimes I will want to do that. And also, if you have a numpad, and if you don't, you can go to Edit, Preferences. It must be on Input, Emulate numpad. If you do not have a numpad, you can use the keys above. You know, the numbers. Because with the numpad, you can change the views. This is numpad 1, numpad 3, numpad 7. You can also use the numpad 9 to look at the opposite direction. And 5 to change to orthographic view. And then back to perspective. Perspective is like real life view, sight, English words. And orthographic is for if you want like exact measurements or a distance instead of like real life distancing. This is orthographic view because you can see the grid. And then this is perspective. Because orthography, you can see it doesn't deform. With perspective, it does. Objects. Okay, how to animate. A new animation or new action, as you can see at the bottom, it duplicates the previously selected animation. As you can see, it has like, here's the list. I created a new animation from this one, so created this one, .001. Okay, so you can do this. Eliminate all the keyframes. Make sure that all of the bones are visible, and I already showed you here. These are the options, and you want to be 100% sure. You can like select the rest. Yeah, for doing like selecting and dragging, you can like hold shift and then just drag like that, like boop, boop, boop. Okay, let's select them back. It was this. Let's just assume that these are all the bones I have selected. And I also create extra bones, like for instance, Franco has this tail. This doesn't belong to any of these. Instead, I go here. These are like for the body, and this is for like extra stuff like his clothes. Like I showed earlier, that maybe stuff are hidden, so I reselect them, make them visible or invisible here. So yeah, like I was saying, if you want to make a new animation, like actually new, select everything, all the bones. Your arrow, your pointer has to be in this view, in the 3D view. Then press the A key. Then move the pointer to here, the timeline. Press A to select everything. And then press the delete key. There we go. No keyframes. You can create anything from there. Oh yeah, I also showed how to manipulate every bone, you know, like grabbing, rotating, scaling, whatever. You can reset all of that. Hold Alt and then G for reset the grab, R for resetting the rotation, S for resetting the scale. And there we go. So yeah, how to create a keyframe? Okay, you have to like do whatever you want. and then press I. You can select how to affect the keyframe. To be safe, I always select like location and rotation. It's like I will always want one of the two. Even if when it's one of the two, I just select both. Because if I select like, okay, first of all, I created a keyframe. I can move the keyframe, okay. And now you can see that this is what happens when you don't like delete all the keyframes. It's gonna do the motion from the mouse you didn't select. So let's do that and remove. Oh yeah, I have to select everything with A and then delete. There we go. Good. Okay. So I created there a keyframe. I'm gonna create something like that, and then I don't know, like this. And there we go. We got an animation of the arm. And like I said, I can just create both location and rotation because it's like, if I do this, I don't know, just anything. I do this, then I insert only rotation. Let's say that it's only gonna remember the rotation animation, as you can see, not the location. Also, another thing, you can see when the keyframe is created and then removed. Okay, so here it is removed. If I move the present frame from the timeline, it will reset its positioning to whatever interpolation there is between both keyframes. You can always do Ctrl Z, and there we go. The position that you had is there. Right? What else? You can also like copy a pose and then paste in a mirror fashion. And it can be like not only from like opposing body parts, it can also be like from like the center. So it's like I do this, then I copy, and then I paste. How to do that? It's super simple. Control plus C to copy. Okay, so Control plus C to copy, and then Control plus Shift plus B. That's how you can paste a mirror pose. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, this rig I'm using is Rigify, Blender's built-in add-on that we enabled at the beginning. So with this, you can set up how the limbs behave, and by default it's not what I have here. Instead, it has, okay, so first of all, select a hand or a foot, one of the two. It will show these options. So IK stretch, that means that it will just keep stretching the further it goes. I just disabled that. I never had a reason to do that because it's like a bit too finicky, something I haven't explored on. What else? There is the toggle pull. Yeah, this is what allows you to handle the elbows. As you can see, sometimes you will want that. I just have it enabled always. What else? There is, if it affects the IK or the FK. Like I mentioned earlier, the inverse kinematics affects from the outmost bone to the rest. So forward kinematics is the opposite. It will affect whatever further in the bone is. It will affect to the more from the outside, from the rest that's outside, as you can see. And like I showed earlier, you can where is it? Yeah, it's this. You can adjust how much strength influence strength there is between IK and FK. So yeah, here you can see I can move from the FK. Now, when would you want to use forward kinematics instead of inverse kinematics? When doing arced motions, like, okay, first of all, let's revert to IK. Okay, so we got, let's see if this motion is good enough. Okay, I'm just gonna make a new one. Revert reverse. Now, location and rotation. Okay, I just realized something before explaining that. So sometimes if you delete all the keyframes, Blender for whatever reason will just have no animation selected. So I'm just gonna, you can select the list, you can type the name if you remember, and there we go, we're back. Because if you don't have any animation selected, when you create a keyframe without anything, it will create a new animation with a default name. Just so you know. Okay, let's make the example of why you would prefer FK instead of IK. So I created a keyframe here. Let's create another one like this. So like so. Location and rotation. Okay, what will happen? So you can see that the arm bends. Sometimes you will want that. Other times you will want to like the arm just extending forward all the time instead of bending like that. It is much easier with FK. But editing with forward kinematics, it can be a bit too like finicky. So what you can do is, okay, let's select, because this pose coincides with IK, let's select all the bones for the arm and make a keyframe with the I key. Okay, you can jump to keyframes with the up key and down key, or individual frames with the left and with the right keys. Okay, we are here. Now we can snap this FK arm to the IK arm. And that's what it says right here, FK to IK. So there we go. This keyframe. Now we can just keyframe that. There we go. That doesn't mean that it will follow the FK yet. We still have it enabled for the IK. As we can see there is a bend there. So we've got to change the weights from fully IK to fully FK. And there we go. Now we got a fully extended arm when rotating. So yeah. And you can even keyframe the influence between IK and FK. So this one is like fully FK. We can keyframe that. We hover on the IK FK influence strength, and then we press the I key. It's gonna remember that during the animation, and then we can like press up to skip to the keyframe, and then we select again the keyframe. I mean to keyframe this. As we can see, this is green. Now it's yellow. Yellow means that it is a keyframe on the selected frame. If we do this, it becomes green. That means there is an interpolation between two keyframes when it's green. And also, if I'm not wrong, oh no, never mind. Yeah, but yeah, you can do that. Then on the next frame, we can revert that to the other influence. Press I to do the keyframe, and then we can like move a bit more forward and do this, press the I key. There we go. And now it will do the inversive kinematic animation there. You can see there it goes in a straight line. That's what it does, because that's the dominant bone, the outmost, because that is an inversive kinematic. And then here it's fully extended because the dominant bone is the innermost from the limb. That is forward kinematics, because it goes from here, then here, then here. Inversive kinematics in the opposite direction. And I guess, okay, I guess one more thing, one more trick, tails. So you can select everything like a group, hover, then press the L key. It will select the whole group if you don't want to individually select. And how to select multiple without selecting everything? It's like hold Shift and then select every single bone you want to influence at once. Okay, you can do that, or you can press the L key. By the way, you can deselect everything by holding Alt then A, and the A key alone selects everything. Okay, then Alt A to deselect. Okay, the L key selects a whole group, and you can rotate. Oh, by the way, I haven't said how to do this kind of rotation. That's like this instead of like this. This is just R. This is pressing R twice. It has a different type of rotation, as you can see. This is just R. It's like one dimension, unidimensional. Twice R is bidimensional. Okay. Now, as you can see, it grabs everything. You can also make them rotate individually. At the top, you can select different types of influence. What I have now is median point. Everything is reference to one point. Individual origins. That means that the influence is affected, as it says, individually. So as you can see, it makes rotations like that, like this. You can also influence from the 3D cursor. You can see at the bottom, there it is. It's gonna do weird shit because it's right there. Move. Yeah, you can move the 3D cursor. For that, it can be from anywhere you want. It could be like on nothing or on a surface. So for that, you have to hold Shift, then right click to anywhere. You can also move the 3D cursor from exact values. So you have to go to View, and then there is Location. You can like hold and drag, or click and then insert any number you want. 0 is neutral, like 0. I can press Tab, then 0 to neutralize everything. You can also assign a specific spot, a particular spot for the 3D cursor. You have to hold Shift, then press S. You can select cursor to selected. There we go. It went to the bone because that's what it was selected. You can also go back to the origin, 0, 0, 0, like I showed earlier. So hold Shift, then press S. Cursor toward origin. That is completely neutral. In case you want like a specific spot from where to rotate, there's the 3D cursor, or median point, which is like everything. It follows one spot. Or individual origins if you want to like add everything at once for specific kind of orientation. Alright, I guess that's it for posing. Okay, actually, just one more thing that is like, could be super annoying. So at the top, edit, then select lock object modes. You saw that more than once I was selecting the model itself accidentally when I want to select a bone. This way you can only select the bones with the lock object modes. If I disable that, I can select models, everything that is not related to the mode you are in. So right now I'm in object mode. I can select the armature, but only as a whole thing, as you can see there. So I had to hold Control and then press Tab, and there we go. We're in pose mode. I can only select anything that is in pose mode. I select the objects, nothing happens. This is like super useful when you want to animate and you don't accidentally select anything else too frequently. Okay, now I said one more thing, just one more thing. I just saw something super important. So here we have quaternion. That's a way how something really rotates. We also have Euler and the specific order for each. So I won't get into the math, but basically quaternions are like for complex rotations. Okay, I'm gonna again take back the influence. And yeah, it's like for complex rotations like this. That's why you would use Quaternion. And where was it? There we go. Yeah, Quaternion. And Euler is like for more simple rotations, like I don't know, machines and wheels, etc. Like this kind of stuff, because it's only gonna accumulate. As you can see on the right here, it's like whoop, it just changed a lot the value. But Quaternion is like it has like a limit between 1 and -1, because it's like for, once again, more free rotations, kind of free. And there's one more thing that I still cannot figure out how to prevent, but there's basically a thing that like there are poses, and then I can like mirror the pose. You remember like Control plus C to copy, and then Control plus Shift plus V. It will mirror the pose, and it's like sometimes this, or maybe not even by doing this, but any kind of posing, it will have like incorrect Quaternion values. So it's like you will want to say pose like this, press I, then location and rotation, then do this, like this, press I to create the keyframe. So now it is good. It's like it was the motion, the exact motion I was meant to do. But sometimes instead of doing this, it's going to do like point A and point B. Those are correct, but you won't know until it's animated that instead of this short animation, it will go to like the longer route. And when that happens, it's because the Quaternion values are incorrect. So what I do is like, well, it's been a while, but it's like I delete the keyframe, this one of the keyframes, and do the posing again until I get right rotations for the Quaternions. I know it's been a lot. I'm sorry about that. I just want to make a complete manual. Okay, I guess that's it. If you want physics, there are add-ons. I still cannot find one. Okay, so for for rendering, finally we are into rendering, and have to make a timestamp for that. Okay, Control Tab to go into object mode. From pose mode, we can set up the cameras. I may have more than one camera. As you can see here, this one has a black square. That is the active camera. If you press numpad 0, it will go to the camera view. Press numpad 0 again to go to the previous view. You can also escape from the camera view by just rotating. And yeah, you can do also move the camera and rotate the camera, and I guess scale, but I think that does nothing. Yeah, it does nothing. Do not rotate, do not scale the camera, only grab and rotate. Okay, quick tip about the camera. Rotation, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna reset. Numpad 3, R 90 minus 90 degrees. Okay, so there is a thing. It's like this kind of rotation. Make sure that if I'm not wrong, it's the Y rotation. Yeah. Make sure that it's at 0 if you want like leveled with the ground. Okay, let me see something. So this is Z, the Z axis, and this is the X axis, and so this is the Y. Oh wait, okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's like there are two ways to rotate. I forgot to mention this. Okay, so yeah, you press the R button to rotate, you can lock to an axis, the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. There are two ways. So it's like you press the one of the three axis keys, X, Y, or Z, once. That is based on the world's rotation. If you want from the local rotation, you have to press the axis key twice. So yeah, this is the world's orientation. This is local's orientation or self-orientation. So yeah, it's like world orientation, then local orientation. So you have to know when to use which. Okay, let's reset this. Okay, and if you want to change the active camera, select another camera, hold Control, then press 0 the numpad. You can also create cameras based on the 3D location. In fact, everything you create is based on the 3D cursor. So yeah, hold Shift, press A, and you can see all this stuff. Here is camera. It's always gonna be towards where you are viewing on the 3D view, but you can like reset the rotation with Alt plus R. And then if you want to like just straightforward, R, then X once for the world rotation or twice for local rotation, doesn't matter now because it's neutral. Then press 90, and there we go. It's facing forward. Make it the active camera control plus number 0. It's completely neutral. So this might be a bit too fake for some people, but it's actually seen. It's not this square. That's not like the closest view from the camera. It's this spot. So you can see there. Now we can see his legs. By the way, to go to full screen, hold Control, then spacebar. It can be from anything you want to see. Okay. Free on the numpad. We can see like, okay, his hair chest. It's like, you can see that it's like far from the camera. You will think that it's like we won't see it Franco at all, but we press 0 on the numpad. We still can see, well, partially of his chest. You can also control the camera while viewing with the camera in the camera view. And if you move with a mouse wheel, it's gonna like, as you can see, zoom out and in. But this square is what is going to be rendered. So it's like you can see what's going on out of bounds if needed. And once again, this is where the views start, not here. This is more for how the view is affected, so to speak. So once again, like I said near the beginning, here in the view, focal length at 50. This is only for the 3D view. Okay, if it is from the camera, you have to select it. Go here and select this tab where it says, I don't know what it's called, data, but it's the camera, as we can see. You can change the focal length from the camera. As you can see, this is like broader, closer to eyefish, and closer to a tunnel vision. And if you know about cameras, you can change between millimeters or field of view, which is an angle. There are more details to do that, by the way. So, and I don't know fully comprehend them. So I just used to what this was the default. 50 is human eye. So we go to the camera view. You can see closer and then farther. It's like if we use like a really low value, it's not like far from the character. If we zoom in like this, I guess, still looks like sort of like an extreme pose. Yeah. And now let's go back to 50. We can grab, press Z once for world orientation, twice for local orientation. There we go. Yeah, that looks more natural. Like I said, this is like your human eye, 50. But you want to do like something like quote unquote cleaner, just add a higher, even higher value, like 120. Sometimes I do this for renderings. You can see it's more even out. But that means that's like gonna be the opposite of the lower value, like 20. It has like a more extreme zooming whenever something moves in and out. Yeah. Yeah, active camera. And you can also keyframe the focal length if you want to do that. There's also this thing about perspective and orthographic. Like I said at the beginning, it's like this is perspective view, this is orthographic view, which is like parallel lines. That's how it is rendered, and perspective is like real view. Okay, let's go back to the natural view, human view, and oh man, I'm saying so many things. Kinda lost now. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want orthographic, that's gonna be like the parallel kind of view, and it's like, okay, so it's like this. So right now you can see, yeah, I'm moving forward, I'm moving back, because it is parallel, kinda distancing, you know, like this. You can see that everything is parallel. Getting closer doesn't mean getting bigger. Instead it's like this kind of stuff. It's a different concept. So if you want that to get bigger, orthographic scale. Yeah, it gets bigger, it gets smaller, but it doesn't get closer or farther. That's with orthographic view. Okay. I said rendering, I won't expect the camera. Okay, finally gonna spot the rendering. Let's revert to, okay. Okay, let's just render this. Boom. Okay, so yeah, that was no lights. You can verify the rendering mode. Press the Z key for a view with textures, Z plus 4, no, I mean Z then 4 for wireframe, Z then 6 for solid, and then Z then 8 for rendered. As you can see, there are no lights, it's perfectly even. Let's hide this. We can hide objects by selecting them and then pressing H. And then look at here to bring them back. Okay, there are no lights. Are they here? Yes, there are. Okay. Oh, I had so much stuff. Let's hide. I can like drag and then press H to hide. Okay. There we go. Where is the light? Okay, let's hide this. Sun, I think. Oh, it's right there. Yeah. Okay, so here's the light. You can like move it, then adjust the strands and also the color. Okay, you can also create a light. You remember, Shift plus A, light. There are different types of light. You may experiment with each. Sun is like overall. The rest are like a specific portion of the scene. Okay, so yeah. Oh yeah, one more important thing when rendering. So there's one thing from what you can see when editing, and another thing is what is visible during the render. So here we can see I select Franco, I hide his body, I render, he's still visible on the render. So I can also like make him visible here, then hide from rendering. There we go. So you can modify all that stuff. Okay, what else? How to render at 1 frame. Press F12. That's it. You can also render animations. You have to select where the animation starts at the bottom and where it ends. I won't render animation, but yeah, that's what you have to do. And this is like the active frame that you are previewing here. All of that you can like left click, then press a number, and then press enter, and there you go. You go to wherever you want. Active frame, starting frame, ending frame. Okay. And then I make sure that it is on the animation you want. And for that, you have to, okay, where is the, yeah. Select the object that is being animated, and then select the animation. Alright. And if it has a pause mode, which is the case armature, go, Control plus Tab, just to be 100% sure because it's a bit too finicky in Blender. And then select the animation, and there we go. We're good. Okay, let's go back to object mode. And now, output. So here, you can like select there and then go wherever you want. A really important tip, it's like make sure you render in a folder called frames. Create that if you want to export like individual frames. Okay. So yeah, you can create either individual frames or a whole video, whichever fancy you the most. You can select from here at output, yeah, right underneath where you select where it is going to be rendered. So click on that, and then yeah, I just use PNG for individual frames or FMmpeg video for rendering a video. PNG, yeah, pretty straightforward. Black and white, red, green, and blue, and red, green, blue, and transparency. And then there's color depth. I always use 8. More. I really don't know why I would want more, so I just choose the lowest one. Compression. I just take the lowest. Override, yeah. If you want to override whatever you created. When creating a video, you select this. I don't know what the rest are for, so it's that. Encoding, container. Matroska is what? It's like your safety net format. If you run out of power or your computer turns off all of a sudden, the file will have whatever it managed to render. If you choose MPEG-4, which is MP4, it will corrupt the file if it's not fully finished. But it's like I guess you are like compelled on selecting this for certain websites and applications, because MP4 is more supported than Matroska, which is NKV, I think. Anyways, video codec. I guess this is just fine. H.264. You can also select AV1, like if your hardware supports it. If it doesn't, then the render is going to be much slower. You can experiment that if you want. So for both options, where was this selected? Yeah, this. Okay. The bitrate. Select whichever of your liking. I normally select perceptually lossless for this video codec, and then high quality for AV1. It is like really good. Because I have enough patience, I choose the encoding speed as slowest. If I'm not wrong, the slower the rendering, the smaller the file size will become. Keyframe intervals, I don't know what they are. And then audio, I do not work with this, but I think I choose AAC when I have to use with audio. And sample rate, that is like dependent from every single audio file. I'm speaking this from experience. Once I want to like edit this, and then I rendered the video, and then the video had like a different pitch because the sample rate from the render and from the samples I used had were different sample rates. So yeah, watch out for that. And yeah, how to render an animation. You hold Control and then press F12. I won't do that because it will overwrite and then I'll feel like it changes the rest. Yeah, that's how it starts rendering. And you can cancel the render if you want. Just press escape while it's rendering. Sometimes it won't abort immediately. It takes a while to abort a rendering, an animation rendering. And what else? Here you can choose the frame rate, because that does not change the distance of the keyframes. That means the higher the frame rate, the faster it will go, and the lower the frame rate, the slower it will go. I will speak later how to fix that. And there's the resolution. You can adjust each one however you like, and then you can select a percentage. Like, that's what I do. I don't know how weird am I, but yeah, you can like select 300%, and then it will render at a higher resolution multiplied by this. Okay, so if for whatever reason you want to render at a higher or lower frame rate than whatever you were working with. So okay, I can do an example with a pre-made animation. I really don't remember. I have many running animations. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you go down here to the timeline. Press and we select all the bones, every single bone. Go here. The pointer must be on this timeline. Press A to select everything. Make sure the active frame is in wherever you will need to edit from everything. Then press S to scale. You can also scale here, and then with that you can adjust how slow or fast you want the animation to become. Warning: if you make it by doing this, I mean mainly smaller, there is the risk of keyframes overwriting on top of each other. So I'm gonna show you. You can see here I have like 5. Yeah. Look at any of the groups. It will happen eventually. It's like I make them smaller. No, it's like in these much smaller groups. But actually, here some like more visible, I guess. But yeah, you can see it's like there are fewer frames. They are overwriting from each other. So do be careful on shrinking animations. You have to know for every single bone, every single keyframe what you're doing. If you select everything, you can also select specific keyframes like this. You just left click and drag. Whoop, whoop. And here you can see from each bone. At the top it's summary, so it's like it's from everything. So like I select this keyframe, is to select from every single keyframe from summary. So yeah, it's like if you want to like select everything, you can just do this instead of going downwards to the huge list of keyframes and bones. Alright, I guess that's the whole thing. Oh my fucking gosh, I'm so sorry this tutorial is so long! Okay. Just approach me and you ask me if you need help with anything. Alright, have a good day. I'm having a headache.